All right, so I just want to talk about what Google puts in its results when you type in and search when did 5G go live in Wuhan, China? Okay? It has this poster up at the top um that basically links to a site known as Full Fact, okay? And what they're pinning up here is this headline: The Wuhan Coronavirus has nothing to do with 5G, and then dash full fact. So basically, the first thing they want you to see, Google, because this is their algorithm and this is what they're putting in your vision when you first only all you're searching is when did 5G go live in Wuhan, China, right? You didn't put nothing about coronavirus, but the first thing it pulls up is the Wuhan coronavirus has nothing to do with 5G, being promoted by a site known as Full Fact. Okay? Now, it says the claim is Wuhan is where 5G was rolled out first. It says claimed by a Facebook user, and then it has fact checked by Full Fact, as if this is some sort of reliable site that we're supposed to trust. And then it has Wuhan was one of the first places, and then it continues. So let's click on this link that they want you to obviously either click on or see to try to dispel any claims that coronavirus does have something or may have something to do with 5G. So let's click on that. All right, so it's a UK independent so-called fact-checking charity. Okay. First, excuse me. First thing we're gonna do is see if we could get some company info. Um, so they have their address down here. They have a They have a email, right? They say they provide free tools, information, and advice so that anyone can check the claims we hear from politicians and the media. So basically, they want to be the ones who tell you what is true and what is untrue. All right. No. I mean, first of all, what is their reputation in the first place? I'm not going to take anyone's word as truth. I want to be able to research it. All right. But let's see what they're saying. So here's a claim: Wuhan's where 5G was rolled out first, and then they say Wuhan was one of the first place with 5G trials, along with some other Chinese cities. All right. So a post on Facebook claims that Wuhan, China, the center of the new coronavirus outbreak, was where 5G was first rolled out. It suggests that 5G has damaged people's immune systems and so boosted the virulence of the common cold. The main implication of the claim that 5G can impact immune systems is totally unfounded. There is no evidence linking the new coronavirus to 5G. Now, let's talk about that, because here's the problem. There's many people calling for health studies to be done before 5G is being rolled out, right? So that the fact or the claim that they make that 5G is unfounded to impact the immune system, well, it's only unfounded because they're purposely not doing the health studies, right? They're just rolling it forward without doing the health study. So they can't use that as a defense that, oh, because it's unfounded that it's done that. That's just because you haven't done the studies, all right? So let's continue. It's true that Wuhan does have some 5G coverage. The local government listed a number of venues with 5G coverage in August. All right, so it goes on, and then it comes down here. It says in October 2019, China's three state telecom companies announced they will be rolling out phone services that use 5G, and that big cities including Beijing, Shanghai, Wenzhou, and Hangzhou here are already covered by the network. As we've written about before, there is no evidence that 5G is harmful to humans. Okay, again, why is there no evidence? Well, there's no studies that are being done. There's no independent studies. There's no even studies within the industry. There are really no industry studies taking place when it comes to health, because they do not want the studies to come forth. Let's continue. 5G is the next generation of wireless network technology, following on from 4G. Um, like 4G, 3G, and 2G before it, 5G mobile data is transmitted over radio waves, a small part of the whole electromagnetic spectrum, which includes microwaves, visible light, and X-rays. Exactly. It's a much shorter wave, and therefore it has different implications to how it affects the human body. Okay? It says these radio waves are non-ionizing, meaning they don't damage the DNA inside cells as X-rays, gamma rays, and UV rays are able to do. 5G although at slightly higher frequency, and that's important. It's at a much higher frequency than previous networks. They say it's still in this radio part of the electromagnetic spectrum. There's no studies that have been done, long-term studies or independent studies, or really any studies at all that have been done to show what the long-term effect of 5G is. And yes, it is it's a higher frequency and therefore can have a different effect on the body. Okay, it says Public Health England has said that there's no convincing, look at this, quote unquote, convincing evidence. What does that mean? Is there evidence or is there no evidence that exposure below International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation guidelines can cause adverse health effects? These guidelines go up to 300 gigahertz, whereas the maximum for 5G will probably only be in the tens of gigahertz. See, again, no studies. Where's the proof? They say convincing evidence. Wow. There's no evidence that 5G can cause it damage immune systems. Well, if you don't do the studies, you won't have evidence now, will you? As for the claim that new coronavirus observed in Wuhan is the normal cold with boosted virulence, that is simply not the case. Okay, where's your proof? As we've discussed in other fact checks, see what the language they're using? As we've discussed in other fact checks. Like, no, you're just putting forth your belief, your side. It's biased. Although the new coronavirus spreading in Wuhan has commonly been referred to by the media and others as just coronavirus, it is just one type within this family of viruses. Coronavirus is a broad category of viruses which includes the common cold, SARS, which is a severe acute respiratory syndrome of which there were outbreaks in 2002 and 2004, and this new coronavirus identified in people in Wuhan. And that's pretty much where it ends. Now, what you got to understand is this is a biased article. This is a biased point of view. And for that to be promoted as a fact by Google, which knows that it has many people who use them to search, is a very destructive and controlling way of filtering out information in which they don't want to be seen by people. So just wanted to bring this up as an example of, you got to be careful and discerning of how you do your research, and don't always just choose and stop at the first posting you see on Google, because their algorithms are designed and created in a way in which they want to put forth certain ideas in your mind and ingrain them. All right, I'll catch you guys next time. Y'all take it easy.